By the time most of the world is fumbling for the snooze button and reaching for a glowing phone, my family has already been awake for a good while, and we've already done more that matters than many folks do all morning. Not because we're busier, but because we begin the day in a way the modern world has almost completely forgotten, a way that's barely changed in hundreds of years. And I've come to believe that the first hour of a person's day quietly shapes everything that follows it. So today I want to share 10 things my people do every single morning. 10 simple old habits that set a whole day right. And here's the best of it. You don't have to give up one single modern comfort to take up any of them. Every one is yours for the taking, starting tomorrow. So let me give them to you. The first thing, and everything else stands on it, is that we rise early, before the sun or with it. There's a stillness in the early morning that exists at no other hour, a quiet before the day's demands come rushing in, and rising into that quiet lets you meet the day on your own terms instead of being chased by it from the first moment. When you wake early and unhurried, you begin from a place of peace. When you wake late and scramble, you begin already behind, already frantic, and you spend the whole day trying to catch up to a morning you lost. Early to bed and early to rise is the oldest advice there is, and it's old because it's true, and it's true because it works. The second thing is that we don't let the world into our heads first thing. There's no glowing rectangle by the bed pouring news and worry and noise into our minds before our feet even touch the floor. And I want you to really sit with how strange and harmful that modern habit is when you look at it plainly. The very first act of the day, before a person is even properly awake, is to flood their mind with the whole churning world, every trouble, every demand, every reason to feel behind or afraid or not enough. Your mind, first thing in the morning, is like a still pond, and whatever you drop into it ripples out across the entire day. We drop stillness in, quiet, our own thoughts, and that quiet stays with us. Guard the first minutes of your mind, and you guard the whole day. The third thing is that we begin with gratitude and prayer. For us it is prayer, turning the heart toward God in thankfulness before anything else. But even for one who doesn't share our faith, there's power here for anyone. To begin the day by naming what you're thankful for. Another morning, your family, the roof over you, the simple mercies of a life, tilts the whole spirit of the day toward the good. A heart that starts grateful moves through the day lighter and steadier than a heart that starts in complaint and dread. It costs nothing and takes but a moment, and it changes everything downstream of it. The fourth thing is that we set our small corner of the world in order right away. The bed is made, the room set right, before we move on. It seems almost too small to bother mentioning, but there's deep sense in it. To make your bed first thing is to accomplish something, however small, before the day has even truly begun, and to bring a little order into your world. And order in your space breeds order in your mind. Begin the day in a made-up, tidy room, and you carry a quiet steadiness with you. Begin it in chaos and clutter, and you carry that too. That one small act, done every morning, tells you that you are a person who takes care of things, and over time, that message builds something solid in the soul. The fifth thing is that we tend to what depends on us before we tend to ourselves. The animals are fed and watered before we sit to our own breakfast. The creatures in our care come first. There's a shaping power in beginning every day with an act of service, of looking after what's been entrusted to you before seeing to your own comfort. It builds a certain generosity of spirit, a certain unselfishness, to start each day by giving rather than taking. And even if you keep no animals, you can begin your day by doing some small thing for another. your family, your household, before turning to your own wants. Begin in service, and a generous spirit colors all the hours that follow. The sixth thing is that we get outside into the real morning air first thing. We're out in it early, in the cool and the freshness, under the real sky, feeling the actual weather of the day. And there's something grounding in that contact with the morning world that no indoor start can give. Most folks now pass from a heated house to a heated car to a heated building and scarcely feel real air or see real sky all day long, sealed away from the world. We begin the day out in it, and it wakes the body and settles the spirit in a way that's hard to put into words, but easy to feel. Step outside first thing. Breathe the morning. Look at the sky. It connects you to something real before the artificial day begins. The seventh thing is that we eat a real hearty breakfast, cooked and sat down to. Not something grabbed on the run, not a sugary thing gulped in the car, not skipped entirely. A proper meal, eggs and bread and whatever the season gives, eaten sitting down. Our days are full of hard physical work, and you cannot do real work on an empty stomach or on nothing but a bit of sweetness that leaves you crashing by mid-morning. So we fuel the body right, first thing, with real food that sustains. A good breakfast is the foundation a good day's work is built on, and the modern habit of skipping it or grabbing junk leaves the body running on fumes. The eighth thing, and it flows right from the seventh, is that we eat that breakfast together, as a family, around one table. This may be the thing the modern world has lost most completely, and it may be the most precious of them all. The whole family gathered, sharing a meal, talking, being truly together before the day scatters everyone to their tasks. No screens at the table, no rushing off in separate directions with separate breakfasts, just the family as one, beginning the day joined. The table is where a family is knit together, meal by meal, day by day, and so much of the closeness of our families is built right there in those shared mornings. When families stop eating together, they slowly stop truly knowing one another, and they hardly notice it happening. Guard that table. It holds a family together. The ninth thing is that we put the body to work early and let it move. We don't ease into the day slack and sitting. The morning is when the real work begins and the body gets moving right off. The chores, the animals, the labor of the place, and that early movement wakes the body rightly, gets the blood going, and feels good in a way that stillness never does. The body was made to move, and it's happiest moving in the freshness of the morning. Most folks now sit from the moment they wake through the whole day, and their bodies pay dearly for it. Even if your own work isn't physical, beginning the morning with some real movement of the body changes how the whole day feels in your bones. And the 10th thing, which ties all the rest together, is that we begin the day with purpose and a plan. We rise knowing what the day's work is, the day laid out before us in good order. There's no aimless drifting, no fretting over what to do with ourselves, no frittering the precious morning away. The work is known, the purpose clear, and we set to it. A day begun with clear purpose gets things done and ends in the deep satisfaction of work completed. So many folks begin with no plan at all, just reacting to whatever comes flying at them, pulled every which way, and they reach evening worn out, yet feeling they accomplished nothing. Begin with purpose. Know what matters. Set to it. And the day becomes something you shaped, not something that merely happened to you. Now let me paint you a picture of what a morning actually looks like in a house like mine. So these 10 things become a living thing you can see rather than just a list you read. It begins in the dark, before the sun. No shrieking alarm, just the natural waking of a body that went to bed at a decent hour and got its rest. The house is still and quiet. The first thoughts aren't the world's thoughts, but our own, and a turning of the heart in thankfulness for the new day. Then to dress in the cool of the morning, and to set the room in order, the bed made, and then out into the dark that's just beginning to gray toward light, into the sharp, fresh cold, to tend the animals who are waiting on us, the barn warm with the breath of the creatures. By the time they're all seen to, the sky is coming light, and the kitchen is warm, and the good smell of breakfast fills the house. And then we gather, all of us, at the one table, and we eat together, hearty and unhurried, and we talk, and we begin the day joined as one family before the work sends us our separate ways. By the time much of the world is just slapping the snooze button a third time, we've already given thanks, already worked, already gathered, already eaten well, already met the morning face to face. That's the difference these habits make. Hours of real life that most folks sleep straight through or rush right past without ever tasting. Let me press harder on a couple of these because they're the ones most worth your trouble. That second one, keeping the world out of your head at first, I believe is the single most important habit for anyone living in the modern age. So let me give you something you can actually do about it. The trouble is that the phone sits right there by the bed, so the hand reaches for it before the mind has even woken. So here's the simple old-fashioned fix. Move it. Put it clear across the room, or better still, in another room entirely. Get yourself a plain wind-up clock if you need waking, and let that glowing thing spend the night somewhere you'd have to get up and walk to reach it. Just those few steps of distance break its spell. They give your mind the chance to wake as itself, in quiet, before the whole roaring world comes flooding in. Try it for a single week, and I promise you'll feel the difference in how the whole day sits upon you. A mind that wakes in peace carries peace through the day. A mind that wakes in a flood of noise carries that noise all day long. And that eighth one, the family breakfast, I'll dwell on a moment more. Because of everything on this list, it's the one I'd grieve most to see lost. Something happens around a shared table that happens nowhere else on earth. It isn't just the food. It's the togetherness, the small talk, the catching up, the quiet daily weaving of separate people into one family cloth. Children who grow up eating with their family day upon day, year upon year, grow up knowing deep in their bones that they belong to something, that they're part of a whole. And a family that shares its meals stays close in a way no grand vacation or costly gift could ever buy. Because it's the ordinary daily togetherness that builds the bond, not the rare and expensive thing. So even if your busy, scattered lives let you manage it only some mornings, fight for those shared meals. Sit down together. Put every screen away, your own first of all. Look at one another's faces. Talk. It's one of the most important things a family ever does, and it wears the disguise of one of the most ordinary. And here's something to understand about all 10 of these together, a thing the old folks knew in their bones without ever needing to say it. These habits don't just sit side by side, they feed one another. Each good morning makes the next one easier. Rise early today and you'll be ready for bed at a decent hour tonight, which makes rising early tomorrow easier still. Eat well and work hard in the morning, and the body falls into a rhythm that wants to keep going. Begin with gratitude enough mornings running, and gratitude becomes simply the way you see. These aren't 10 separate little tricks. They're 10 strands of one strong rope, and woven together over weeks and years, they make a life that is calm and ordered and strong and content. That is the real prize at the end of it. Not merely a better morning, but a better life, built one good morning at a time. I'll tell you a small thing I've noticed, having lived both close to the old way and near enough to the modern one to see it plain. The folks I've known who begin their days the frantic modern way, scrambling and screen first and skipping their food, carry a certain harried look about them all day, a scattered, chaste quality, as though they never quite caught up to a day that got out ahead of them at dawn. And the folks who begin the old way carry something else, a steadiness, an unhurried settledness, like a person walking through their day rather than running to catch it. That steadiness isn't a matter of temperament. It's built, every morning, by how the day is begun. You can see it on a person, and you can build it into yourself, starting with a single, quiet, ordered, grateful morning. There they are, the 10. Rise early. Keep the world out of your head at first. Begin with gratitude. Set your space in order. Tend others before yourself. Get out into the morning air. Eat a real breakfast. Share it together as a family. Put the body to work and begin with purpose. 10 simple, old, nearly forgotten things, and every one of them yours to take up whenever you choose. And let me add one honest word for those of you already shaking your heads, saying you simply aren't a morning person and never could be. I understand, and I'll tell you the secret the old folks knew. The good morning isn't made in the morning at all. It's made the night before. You cannot burn the candle down to midnight staring at a screen and then expect to rise easy and glad with the dawn. The body won't have it. The early rising is bought with the early night. When you let the evening wind down as the darkness comes on, the way it's meant to, when you put the screen away and let the day quiet itself toward rest, sleep comes easy and deep, and then the morning comes easy too. So if you want to reclaim your mornings, you must first reclaim your evenings. Let the night be for resting and winding down, not for glowing screens and racing thoughts. Do that, and rising early stops being a daily battle and becomes the most natural thing in the world. The good morning is simply the child of the good night, and you cannot have the one without tending the other. And I'll press the 10th one, purpose, just a little more, because it's the one that carries all the others into the day. To rise already knowing what your day is for is a quiet kind of power. It doesn't require some grand life mission. It's as simple as knowing the few things that truly matter for this one day and setting your hand to them before the day's noise can pull you 100 other directions. The old way of life had this built right in. The work was known, the seasons set the tasks, there was never any question of what the day was for. Modern life often strips that away, leaving folks adrift in their own days, busy without purpose, tired without accomplishment. So you may have to supply it yourself now, deliberately, each morning, by pausing to name what matters most for the day ahead before you begin. A few minutes of that, and you walk into your day with a rudder instead of drifting wherever the current takes you. Now I want you to notice the secret hidden in that whole list, because it's easy to miss. Not one of these 10 things costs a single dollar. Not one requires anything you don't already have. You needn't buy a thing, needn't become Amish, needn't give up your modern life at all. Every one is simply a choice about how you spend the first hour of your day. And yet together they have the power to change the whole shape and feeling of a life. That's the wonder of it. The most powerful things are so often the simplest and the cheapest, the very ones we walked right past because they seemed too plain to matter. And here is why they matter so deeply. The morning is the foundation the whole day is built upon. Begin it frantic, anxious, staring at a screen, skipping your food, with no order and no aim, and you've laid your day on sand, and it will feel like sand all day, shifting and slipping through your fingers. But begin it calm, grateful, fed, ordered, moving, with your people and with purpose, and you've laid it on rock, and everything after stands firm upon it. This is why my people have guarded these morning ways so faithfully for so long, not out of stubbornness about old times, but because we know, generation after generation, that a morning done right makes a day done right, and a long string of days done right is nothing less than a life well lived. The modern world traded all of this away for the thin promise of saving a few minutes. We sleep in and scramble, skip the breakfast, eat alone and scattered, begin with a screen instead of a still heart, all to squeeze out a little more time. But those saved minutes cost us the peace and the order and the togetherness that made mornings and lives good. It was a poor bargain. And the beautiful thing is that you can unmake it any morning you choose. You can set the phone aside. You can rise a little earlier. You can sit to a real breakfast with the people you love. You can step out and breathe the morning. You can begin again, the old way, tomorrow. So here's what I'd ask of you, and it's important, so hear me. Don't try to seize all 10 at once. That's too much, and you'll have given it up by week's end. Choose one. Perhaps tomorrow you simply don't reach for your phone first thing and sit a few quiet minutes instead. Or you make your bed. Or you step outside and breathe before anything else. Just one. And when that one has become natural, become a part of you, then add another. Build your mornings back the way a wall is built, one stone at a time, patient and sure. And watch, over the weeks and the months, how the whole feeling of your days begins to change. Because in the end, how you spend your mornings is how you spend your life. A life is made of days, and days are made of mornings. And a soul that has learned to begin each day with calm and gratitude and order and purpose has learned something worth more than any possession a person could own. They've learned how to live well, one good morning at a time. That is the true inheritance of these old ways, and it is waiting for anyone willing to rise a little earlier and reach for it. If this is the kind of simple, old wisdom you've been hungry for, the kind that got set aside and forgotten in all the noise and rush of modern life, then stay here with me. There's so much more where this came from, and I aim to bring it back to you, one piece at a time. Subscribe, and we'll keep remembering the old ways together, because some of the most important things we ever knew are the simple ones we let ourselves forget. And every new morning is a fresh chance to remember them.